Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited so many of you could show up today and tune in for the swearing in of Dr. Robert P. Taylor as the superintendent of the Wake County Public School System. All of our board members are here. We have a quorum, and I just want to thank you all for being here. And if you will all stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My name is Lindsay Mahaffey. I'm the chair of the Wake County Board of Education and represent District 8. I do want to take a moment in order of district for my colleagues to, or we'll just go around the table, that might be easier, for my colleagues to introduce themselves. So we'll start over here with Mr. Hershey.
Sam Hershey, representing District 6.
Wing Ng, representing District 3.
Lynn Edmonds, representing District 5.
Hello, I'm Tara Waters, District 4.
Chris Haggerty, District 7.
Monica Johnson-Hostler, District 2.
Tyler Swanson, District 9.
Cheryl Caulfield, District 1.
And I do want to take a moment and recognize our other elected officials that are here with us in the audience. We have our North Carolina State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ms. Catherine Truitt. We have the chair of our Wake County Commission, Ms. Shanika Thomas. We have, I need to put my glasses on, Dr. West with the County Commission, Ms. Susan Evans with the County Commission, and former holder of my seat on the Board of Education. And then we also have Mr. Don Mile from the County Commission and Ms. Cheryl Stallings from the County Commission. We have Mayor Glenn York from the town of Zebulon. We have Mayor Jessica Day. Did I see her? No, I did not. I am so sorry. And Mayor TJ Cawley from Morrisville. And has Mayor Marshburn showed up? No, he is out of town. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. But I know there are so many of you that are here that are our community partners, and we just thank you for your work with Wake County Public Schools and helping to serve our children in this community. Oh, and there's Mayor Marshburn. Perfect. Welcome. And we also have from our Division of Principals, Mr. Gary Duval and Ms. Mariah Walker, and from the PTA, Ms. Teresa Jones, because without our parents, we wouldn't be kept honest as board members. Without further ado, I do want to take a moment as he comes in to introduce Dr. Taylor. Before briefly serving as State Superintendent of Education in his home state of Mississippi, Dr. Taylor spent 2 years with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction as Deputy State Superintendent. In this role, he supervised a number of areas, including federal programs, NC Virtual Public Schools, school operations, and school nutrition, while also working closely with the State Board of Education and Superintendent on mission and vision development, legislative and policy development, and program implementation and education. Dr. Taylor also served as superintendent of Bladen County Schools for nearly a decade, and before joining Bladen County, Dr. Taylor worked as an assistant superintendent for administrative services in Clinton City Schools. He also worked as a principal, assistant principal, and middle school teacher for Cumberland County Schools and received his bachelor's degree in history and political science from the University of Southern Mississippi and obtained a master's degree in school administration and a doctorate in educational leadership from Fayetteville State University. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Robert P. Taylor. We are so excited that so many of Dr. Taylor's family members, friends that he has made in education, and supporters from all over, well, really all over, could come here today to celebrate this. And we know there are folks watching this ceremony on the live stream as well. Swearing in Dr. Taylor today is Judge Vincent M. Rozier, who is a judge with the Judicial District 10B of North Carolina's 3rd Superior Court Division. He was previously a judge for the 10th Judicial District from 2006 to 2010 and from 2011 to 2017, and was first appointed by former Governor Mike Easley in 2006. Fun fact, Judge Rozier's father served on the school board in Bladen County as well. So I feel like we've come full circle with this moment. So Judge Rozier, I'm going to hand it over to you for the oath of office.
Good afternoon. It is indeed an honor. As you've heard, my father was on the school board down in Bladen County, and all I would ever hear about was Dr. Taylor, Dr. Taylor, Dr. Taylor. So much that at some point I considered what it would be like if I was able to go back to my original home of Bladen County, where Dr. Taylor would have the opportunity to serve as the superintendent of schools for my soon-to-be children. But now I personally have been blessed that I don't have to move. And now we have the opportunity for Dr. Taylor here, for all of us, to serve as superintendent of the school system here. And my children are indeed honored and blessed to have him serve. And I am thankful for the opportunity not only to have him serve as the superintendent of schools where my children will attend, but also just to have the opportunity to be able to administer the oath of office to him on this day. And then also to recognize that there are individuals from Bladen County who have come up today to support him, including my parents, my mother, and one of my social studies teachers from back home. But at this time, Dr. Taylor, it is your time. So if you would please, you may come on up. And then if there's someone that you would like to have come up with you and stand by you as you administer the oath.
So we're there. You go. I knew something.
We left it on the desk.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's funny. I'm done.
I'll have y'all stand over there.
Okay.
Judge Rose, you gotta be able to pinch it there for a minute. Good.
So yes, sir, if you would please, you can place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right and answer in the affirmative after stating your name. Do you, please state your name.
I, Robert Purnell Taylor,
Do you solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as superintendent of the Wake County Public School System? So help you God.
so help me God.
All right, thank you. You may lower your hand, take your hand off the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you officially for the first time, Wake County Public School System Superintendent Dr. Robert Purnell Taylor.
Well, I'll tell you that, first of all, I want to say that I am grateful for the opportunity that the Lord has bestowed upon me. You'll find that I'm a spiritual person, and I know that this has not been by accident. And so I do want to give that thanks, first of all, because it is a divine thing that brings me here, I do believe. With all things, I think my family, particularly my wife and my son, my two daughters, are not able to be here. But the one thing that I've learned is that you do nothing without family. And I know that Vivian has been there to support me through a 30-year journey. And so thank you so much for that. And for my mother, Josephine Taylor, she's here. We know that this could not happen without the effort of a mom and a grandmother that made sure education was valuable in a child's life. I can't say enough about my two brothers that are here, and my oldest brother, he was unable to be here. But I'm the youngest of 4. And so you can rest assured that you guys have been instrumental in everything in my life. What I learned about valuing education, I learned from the first Dr. Taylor. And those immediate things that I learned about school and math, I learned from Gerald because he was a year older than me. So you can imagine what that influence was to be able to go in and learn from him about what was coming up in the next grade level. So I know that family has everything to do with it. And for my extended family that is here, we know that family is everything, and you all have been there to support me 100% of this journey every single day. That means the world to me. And so as a superintendent, I recognize the power and the value of family and what that means. And that has to be central to everything that we do. I want to begin by thanking the Board of Education of Wake County. The toughest thing you do is to select a superintendent. You look for someone that embodies what you are as a board, and there are different perspectives and different viewpoints on a board, but it's about finding someone that you believe embodies that. And that is what's most important about the work that you do and the most difficult thing that you do. And so I want you to know that as your superintendent, I work for you. I work for the board. I work for the community, and I want to make sure that every member of this staff knows and recognizes that we have 9 people to which we must respond because you work for the constituents that put you here. And so we value that, and it means the world to us. I want to talk for a brief minute about my journey because I have guests that are here. I invited 15 people, but there were probably 50 people that I could have invited. And so anyone who did not get an invitation, I hope they are not offended by that. But I only did 15. And so part of my journey is about being a classroom teacher. And you will hear me say that all the time. That's what I am. And Renee Quarters, who is the principal that hired me, is the person who helped me understand the tremendous power that a teacher has, how you hold teachers accountable. And so, Renee, I appreciate that. Lord, I called her Renee. I don't think I've ever done that. Ms. Quarters, you were instrumental in that. And Larry North, who is here, he's my best friend, and we talked together in the school. And so we continually pushed each other to make sure we did those things to have parents to understand that we are teachers that are serious about our craft. So that was instrumental in terms of how I view my everyday work as a teacher. I can't say enough about my journey as a school administrator. John W. Smith Jr., I don't see him here. I know he was going to be here. There's JWSJ, that's it. John Smith, Paris Jones, Bill Harris, and Kathy Kennedy, you all are the people that supported me as an administrator. And what I learned about being that instructional leader, I learned from each and every one of you. And John, when you gave me that opportunity to be principal, that meant the world. To be assistant principal with you, that meant the world. I was one of few people coming out of the MSA program that did not interview for an assistant principal job. My first 2 interviews were for principalships. And I remember that the board said, well, my God, if we don't give it to him, what are we going to give the other guy? The best thing that ever happened to me was not to start out as a principal, because what I learned under you, it was just valuable in terms of what a principal should be doing. And the belief that Paris and Kathy and everybody else that had in me, they saw something that said, he has what it takes to be a great administrator. We want him to be a part of that team, and that means the world to me. It really does. When I got into district administration, and this is where Bill Harrison probably got upset because he gave me that first principalship, but it was Gene Hales that hired me as a director and assistant superintendent, and he had tremendous faith in me to be that person to lead that particular part of the district. We tell the story all the time. That when I first came in Clinton, there's a loop that you go around. I went around and around and around, and they said, this guy's late, he's not going to be here. And Gene went to bat for me. But everything that I learned about being a superintendent, Doc, I learned from you. I learned about being patient. I learned about being able to work with a board, learning how to let a board know when things are super serious to you, how to develop teachers, how to develop principals. Those 8 years that I spent with you learning about every single program in a school district, I want you to know how valuable that was. So when I did become a superintendent, I told people there's not a single thing I haven't seen that I didn't see when I was in Clinton City Schools. So that means everything. When I think about my role as a superintendent, people like Freddie Williamson, Shirley Prince, Dr. Joseph Johnson, I should call them all doctor, right? Derek Jordan, Tanya Head, who was my assistant superintendent, I call her number one. Catherine Joyce, Jack Hope, you are the people that helped me understand the true nature of what the superintendency is about and how your role and responsibility is not to grow a classroom, not to grow a school, but to grow a district and an entire community, to get them to engage in what it means to have a healthy and robust school system. Catherine, I can't say enough about what you've done for me to bring me to the Department of Public Instruction as your deputy superintendent. That gave me an opportunity to see education from a state perspective, how that work impacts school districts, and how I can engage in a different way to understand what needs to happen between those two entities to do the work that's helpful for children. I had our former state superintendent, June Atkinson, who's here. I think she's been a supporter and a thought partner for me for as long as I can remember. I'll never forget when you asked me to serve on the assessment task force, and here I am, a young superintendent with 2 years, with Frank Till, who's had these large districts all over the country. But she always took time to make sure that she engaged and talked with me. And I remember this is one thing that I learned from June is about knowing your people. And so she came to see me and she quoted about my wife and my son. I said, how does she know all of that about me? But she took the time to engage. And so both Catherine and June, the work that you all have done at the state level, it certainly helps me to understand the importance of what a superintendent is. I want everybody to know that my focus is going to be about instructional greatness. That's the one thing that grounds me as a teacher. That is the thing that Renee Quarters made sure I knew and understood as a teacher. I remember the comments that you told us when you said, if you all are telling me that these black kids can't learn, then something is wrong. That was a different challenge that was put upon us. And so that is the challenge that I take when I'm educating every single child that comes into my building. When we have Hispanic children that can't speak the language, we've got to determine how we engage with them, how we do things to help them access the curriculum. And so that will always be my number one focus, is to make sure that we focus on instructional greatness and how we make teachers great teachers. I can tell you that great teachers made the difference in my life, and they made the difference in my brother's lives, and that is what every single child deserves when they come to our public schools. I want to make sure my focus is getting out and learning this community. I've lived in North Carolina for 30 years, actually 31 years, and I've worked in Raleigh for 2 years, so I know this community from a distance, but I know I've got to learn it up close. And so for the next 6 months, I'm going to spend time being out in the community, talking with parents, talking with teachers, talking with board members, talking with everybody who will listen to help me understand what's important about this community. I know tons about education. I know tons about how we educate children, but there's tons that I need to learn about this community. And I know with your help, you're going to help me meet those goals. I want to end by thanking my wonderful staff that's here. The one thing I know about Wake County is that it has great people. And so I come into a situation where I have knowledgeable and experts that are doing work, and they're going to be the people that help me level up Wake County schools. My goal, so that everyone will know, is that Wake County will not be the flagship district in North Carolina. It will be the flagship and the model in this nation of how you provide an education for a growing and diverse community where everyone feels valued, and this is the choice that they make. So my family, my supporters, my colleagues, my thought partners, the people that I work here, and the board, you have a person that Josephine Taylor trained to be dedicated to the craft. And that's what you have in me. So thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate you doing it.
If you would come join us at your seat. To give some remarks about Dr. Taylor is North Carolina Superintendent of Public Instruction Catherine Truitt. She earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Maryland and master's from the University of Washington. Her career experience includes working as a high school teacher, chancellor of Western Governors University in North Carolina, a turnaround coach and education advisor to former Governor Pat McCrory. Superintendent Truitt and her husband live in Cary, North Carolina, and they have 2 daughters and a son who is enrolled, 2 daughters in college and a son who's enrolled in Wake County Public Schools. Come on up, Superintendent Truitt.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahaffey, for that introduction and for letting me just take a moment to honor who is truly one of the classiest people I have ever met in my whole life, and that is Dr. Robert P. Taylor. Thank you for letting me be one of your 15, because I know there are so many people you could have invited. So I cannot tell you all how excited I am to be here today to honor you as well as Mrs. Taylor and Vivian and Miles. I know how much this man loves you all because I have been hearing about you all for so long, and your brothers as well. And it's just such a treat to be able to see you all in person. Vivian, you look younger every time I see you. I don't know how you do it. One of the things that Rob and I bonded early on in our relationship about was that we are both military spouses. And for those of you who don't know what it's like to be a military spouse, let me tell you, it's a very unique experience. And it's very difficult to build a career over time when you're a military spouse because of frequent and unexpected sudden moves. And so it's hard because you're sometimes not able to sustain a pathway to promotion. And back in the day, when there was no internet, Rob, you couldn't continue your education, right? Because there was no way to do it when you were moving around. Now it's a little bit easier because of online education, but it's really hard to prioritize your spouse. And for those of you who don't know, Vivian Taylor's a colonel in the Army. Retired, yes. So she is a force within her own right, and we know how lucky you are to be married to Vivian Taylor. So it was an honor to have you by my side at the Department of Public Instruction, and it will be an honor to walk alongside you whenever you need the Department of Public Instruction. I am so excited about your goal of student achievement. We all know, those of us who work in education, that the #1 school-related factor for student success is a highly qualified and excellent teacher. And the fact that you know on your first day of work, today, that is what you are going to focus on, that's exactly why this group selected you, because you know that this is about students and you know how to put students first. So I am very excited that this new era has begun. And quite selfishly, I'm very excited that Rob Taylor's signature will be on my child's diploma for the class of 2027. Thank you all so much.
So if it isn't abundantly clear why this board chose Dr. Taylor from getting to hear his remarks, from hearing about the amazing woman who raised him. Thank you so much for being here. And the amazing woman who walks by his side, and his commitment to children. I think that shone through for this board, for making sure that each child every day will continue to be our mission in Wake County Public Schools, so that every child can have access to an excellent education and wonderful adults in those buildings. And it starts at the top. And so we're so excited to have you sitting and being a part of our team of 10 at this board. Very quickly, I believe I saw State Senator Mary Willis Bodie come in, maybe? Yes? Yep, there she is. And I would be remiss if I didn't introduce someone who used to sit at this table in a different building, but yes, it is the same table. Representative Rosa Gill, former Wake County School Board member and former chair. I have been instructed by our communications department to pause right now to take some photos so that so the reception doesn't start and we don't forget. So if we could first get some photos of the board with Dr. Taylor, and then with Dr. Taylor and his family. And then afterwards we have a reception for all of us, and I will give you instructions after that, but we will be quick, I promise. Lisa's gonna organize us.
The hairstylist will be out in a moment. All right, ready? 2, 3. All right, take a break. We're going to shoot one more just to make sure everybody keeps their eyes open for this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, did we want the family? Taylor family, yes. Let me get out of the way.
I'm trying to unlock it. Here we go. Think I bit out of it? It's in good hands.
Please. Yeah, go on. Y'all know each other. You've done this drill before. All right. Everybody look this way and smile. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to shoot one more in just a moment. Got to get everybody's eyes open in the same picture. I hate doing Photoshop. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. And the last quick burst. Woo. All right, I'm done.
Chair Mahaffey, just 1 second, so family will be excused, and then communication folks have to sit together, and somebody asked me to take another photo, so Superintendent Trude, if you'll take our last photo for